Hello everyone, and happy Friday! On today's episode of Toy Box Classics, we are going to start building the Helping Felix Jr. toy box that I showed you last week. This will take 2 episodes to recreate. Today I will show you how to build the toy box, and then next week I'll show you how to hook up the logic for the challenge, so that you can replay this game as many times as you like without having to reload the toy box. Now this build is actually pretty easy. This is a relatively small toy box, and it won't take long to recreate this little world. And as always, I'm starting in an empty toy box. I did place a couple of things here, just to help so I wouldn't have to scroll through the massive editor drawers. But the first thing we're going to do is place the sky changer, and we're going to set the sky to be under Disney Infinity 1.0. It is the Fix-It Felix's sky. This will determine the orientation of our toy box. And the video screen that the players look through is up there. So when the player enters the toy box, I want them to be facing that way. So I'm going to flip the starting pad around. Okay. And then we can delete the sky changer because we are done with that. I'm going to set the theme on the terrain to be the Nicelanders' home. That's the Wreck-It Ralph theme. And now that we have that, we're going to build over in this direction, and the building is going to sit here. And for that, there's a couple of pieces of terrain we're going to need. I want to do a little bit of spacing here. We're going to place a temporary block here, and it's the terrain block. All right, and then we're going to scroll over and pick up this tall, narrow block. And the reason I'm doing this is because I don't want the player to start climbing around on that building and doing things before the challenge begins. So we're going to place 2 pieces of terrain like that. And then we'll delete this one. And for both of these, I don't really like the red brick that's facing there, because that's what the player is going to see. So we'll use the retro video game level. And that will change the theme to that for those 2 blocks. Okay, and I think that looks a little bit more like dirt or rock or something. So I like that. Okay, now the next thing we will do is we're going to need some brick. We're going to need a ton of brick. And we'll start here on this little starting block. And I built a little park here in my toy box. We'll theme this first floor block to brick. I'll set that to be my theme. And I'm going to spin it around so that it's like this. And we're going to put just a sidewalk around the perimeter of this. This, I don't believe, was in the original toy box, but I just kind of like having a little area here where the player can run around a little bit before they start the challenge. You can use this to build on this adventure if you'd like. And we're going to center one on that starting pad and bring it all the way back, and then run a sidewalk down the middle. And from here, we are going to split that one like that. Okay, so there is the brick. And then I'm going to pick this piece up to get back to that part of the drawer. And I'm going to bring this over here because this is where we're going to work. And I'll drop down the brick version. We can delete that. And then I'm going to come back here and pick up these doors. These are out of the gameplay toys. It's the automatic double door. We're going to bring this over here, and I'm putting the front edge of this right in front of the, right along the front edge of those 2 terrain pieces. And then I'm going to spin this around and drop it with the box off the back. Okay, this will put it flush with the building that we're going to build. And next time when we hook up the level starter, I'll hook it up to this so that these doors don't open. I'm just using them for decoration. Okay. And now we will start building our building. So we're going to pick this piece up, And we're going to put down a ton of brick. So we're going to do 3 on that side of the door, 3 on that side of the door. And then we're going to come up and leave a 1 block width between those. Skip that area. And this gap that we're leaving is going to be for the windows. And then 1 more gap. Okay, and then we'll come over to the small square block and we will frame in the windows. And this is pretty repetitive, but it's very easy to build. And that's one of the things I was going for in this series. I was looking for toy boxes that would be easy for people to build. Because many of my toy boxes, as of middle of last year, were pretty huge and pretty complex. And I know a lot of you wanted some simpler toy boxes. All right, so there we go. There are the first 3 floors of our building, minus some details. All right. Now, at this point, we pick this up, put it back, and we're going to leave another gap. This is going to be for a white ledge. And at this point, we are going to do another set of 3 floors. And we're just building this building as tall as we can make it, which is going to be 10 floors, because that's what the original toy box had. Let's see what we got here. 1, 2, 3. I think that's 3. And then just fill this in again. And when I actually built this, I was building it floor by floor as I went, and I was changing textures. I was trying to figure out how to recreate that building. But for you guys, to make this go as quickly as possible, I'm keeping all the same textures, and I'm putting in everything I need to put in with the brick before we switch textures. That will speed things up a little bit. Okay, so there are the next 3 floors. Okay. And now we're going to do this again for the next 3 floors. So once again, this is a very easy build. It just takes a little time. This will be floor number 2. And now we'll do floor number 3 on this next set, which I guess would be floor number 9. And once again, frame in the windows. So how are you guys enjoying this series so far? I know some of you have commented that you remembered some of these toy boxes from way back when that we're recreating. Some of you, these are brand new. You've never seen these before. And I'm curious what you think of them. I didn't design them. I'm just recreating them. But I've been kind of surprised as I've been rebuilding them and replaying them just how well they've held up over time. Some of these are pretty creative. right, so there we are. 3 sets of floors. 9 floors thus far. Okay, now we're going to do the 10th floor. And this one is going to be different. So for this one, what we're going to do is come up to this level, and I'm going to drop this in here temporarily. Okay, and we're going to put one of these on either side. And then I'm going to delete that one in the middle. Okay, and then what we're going to do here is we're going to do 1, 2, 3, and then skip. Okay. And then frame in this window. So this last floor is going to be a little bit taller than the others. All right, so there we go. That is our building, the front of it. Okay. All right, now the next thing I want to do, because this building is pretty flat, we need to add some dimension to it, because when the player is out over this way, I don't want them to see a flat face. Okay, so what we're going to do is come over and pick up this piece to get back to that part of the blocks drawer, and we're going to scroll over to the large block wall. All right, we're going to come over here and line this up like this, but we're going to bring this out 2 nudges. All right, so just like that. And then we're going to make this 2 blocks wide. Like that. Okay, and then we're going to skip a block, a cube, and come up and do another set of these. And then we'll come up and do another set. Notice I left a gap there, just like we did on the front facing of the building. Okay, so there we have that. And now we're going to do the exact same thing on the opposite side. So we're going to come over here, go 2 blocks out. And this will give a little bit of depth to our building. And it looks probably a little bit weird right now, but I think by the time we're done, you'll see this is actually going to look pretty decent. Okay, now if we scroll up to buildings, we are looking for this piece right here. And what we're going to do is we're going to use this for the top of the building up here. All right. And let me get my thing back here. Yeah, we want to come up 1 block up just like that. Okay. And we will drop it right there like that. And this is going to give us a nice roof on the top of this section of the building. We're going to end up covering up this facing here. And we want to do that on this side as well, because that does not match the rest of the building. I'm really just using that piece for the roof. So now that we've placed that, we're going to come over here. And once again, we're going to place this there and then come out 2 nudges away from the building. And we're going to cover this up. And we'll leave it like that. Oops. Spin this around. Do the same thing on the other side. Okay. And that is all for the brick. Okay. So hopefully you can see what I've done here and follow along. Okay, now let's change our texture. I'm going to pick this piece up and let's go down to the bottom once again. And we're going to drop this in here, and I'm going to change the theme on this now to be the Plastic 2 theme. I'll set that to be my theme. All right. And then what we're going to do here is put in a divider between each of the 3 sets of floors, just like that. Okay? And then come up to the next set and do the same thing. Alright, and then we'll switch over to this other piece. We'll come down to the bottom, and this is now why you see we placed those flat blocks where we did, is because this is going to put in these little pieces here. Like that. And then we will place a set of these over here like this, so that it kind of follows the same pattern around the corner of the building. And we'll do the same thing on the other side. And this frames in the building and adds a nice edge on it that looks similar to the Nicelanders building that's under the set pieces. So we're trying to kind of mimic the look of that. Alright. And now that's starting to look pretty good. Alright, and on the upper area here, once again, we'll come in over here, frame this part of the building in, put some of these along the top. Just like that. And this effectively covers up the building inside there that we're using, except for that front section, which we'll get to shortly. Alright, and then let's pick up this piece, put it back, and we'll go back to this large floor. And I wish I could fit in a building in here that would let me use another top of the building texture for this, but I can't really do that, so this is what we got. Actually, I think maybe if we could do it like that, that would save us a little bit of memory than putting a bunch of these little pieces along the side over here. Okay, and there we go. All right, and then let's pick this piece up again. Let's add in some little details here. And I want to use, let's see, where is the balcony wedge? There it is. We're going to put some little corners on the top of the building here to give it a little bit of character. So like that. We'll do that on each of these corners as well. And then we come down, we'll do that down here. And we'll do that on each of these white rows. Then come all the way down and do that over here too. Okay, then we're back down to ground level. All right, so there we go. It's starting to look like a good building. All right, for the section in the middle, once again, we'll pick up, not that piece, that piece. Not that piece. It's not the one I thought I was picking up. This piece. Alright. We'll drop one there, and we're going to change the theme on this now. We'll come back to white in a minute. I want to get the rest of the building done here. We'll put in a piece and change it to be styled cardboard. And this we'll use to distinguish the middle of the building. And well, we did have a couple more brick here. Just notice that. This should be brick. I'll just apply that without setting the theme, because I want to leave the theme as cardboard. And then we're going to put this in all the way up. And we have 3 there. And then we do have some more brick here that I missed. I'll set this to be my theme this time, because we're done with the cardboard, I think. I'll drop the brick in there like that. Okay. So there we go. That's the middle of the building. And that looks pretty good. All right. Now, let's come pick up one of these flat pieces. We're going to come over to this small floor. And now we're going to put in the ledges along the front of the building where the player runs along. The first one we're going to put is going to be right here above that first window, placed like you see there. And we're going to change the style on this now to be this quilted theme. And it looks a little odd, but it does stand out, which is why I think the original creator of this used this. Notice the middle window has 2 of these ledges centered under the window. Okay? We're going to do that on each of the floors here. The middle window gets 2. That window gets 1. And then we come up here, and at this point we're going to put 2 of these down here. Yeah, and 2 on the other side. And I see 1 tweak that I want to make, but I think I'll wait until we're almost done to do that. Okay, so that's those floors. Right, so we're going to come up here, and this time we're going to switch it around. We're going to put the wider ledge on the outside and the narrower ledge in the middle. Okay. And then we get up to this level. And we're actually going to start down here at this level on this one. And once again, we'll switch back to what we had on the first few floors. So the middle window will get the 2. And this is the section of the window that has the blip blocks that you have to break. But we're going to put those in next time. Oops. Okay. And that's it for the blue blocks. All right. Now there's also some white ledges, and so we're going to come down to the bottom here again, and this time we'll put those in. And actually I just saw some blue ledges I missed, so let's put those in first. So we're going to put 2 of them here above the door like that. Okay? And yeah, those are the only ones that I missed. Okay. So now let's come in, not on the first 3 floors, but up here between floor 3 and floor 4. And at this point, we're going to put down right here under this window one of these, but we're going to switch this to the plastic 2 theme. Okay. And actually we need to move that over slightly. We're going to do it like that. And one on the other side as well. And then we're going to come over here between and put a ledge like that and a ledge over there. And then one in the middle up here. And another in the middle up here. And then we'll come up to the next white line. And we're going to put 2 under here. And we're going to put a row of these across here. Like that. And do the same thing on the other side. Okay, and notice I left a gap here. And I went over just a little too far. That should be centered underneath that one. Come on, pick it up. Here we go. Okay, so I left a gap there, but I did not leave a gap over here. So that is one slight difference. Okay. And there we have that. And then we're going to put 2 of these here at this point. We'll put 1 here, 1 here, 1 here. We'll kind of stagger these going up the middle of the building here. Like that. And then we're going to put 2 like so. We'll put 1 above this window like that. On the other side, we will put 3. We'll put 1. Whoops. Put 1 above that window. This should actually go there. And this one should come out. Okay, like that. And then, in this upper section, we're going to place, 1 here, go across the bottom of that, Put one on either side there, and one up under the window over here. Okay, and there are our ledges. All right, let's go back down to this lower section again, and I need to change something that I missed. So we're going to delete that. We're going to delete that. I'm going to pick this block up, put it down, drop it, and change that to brick. Brick is to the right. Okay, and we'll do the same thing on the other side to that middle window. We're going to do something in front of there that kind of precludes us from having a window. And then in the upper next section, I think this is all fine. Looking at my screen grab, yeah, that's all fine. And that section is all fine. And that section is fine. Okay. Now we'll come over here and we're going to add in a little bit of details. And we're going to change the theme on this. If we go to the right, we have to go a little ways. I don't think it's crate. No, it's not crate. I don't think it's that either. No, it's not that one. There's another one that looks like that, though. I should have written this down, but I thought I would remember it. There it is. Metal 2. I thought it was over where the others were, but okay. So there we have that. And I want to pick this up and spin it around. No, I guess we're going to have to put it there. We'll use this instead. That gives you the horizontal one. And that just kind of looks to me like air conditioning kind of things. This is what the original developer had put in of the toy box. And I kind of liked the way it looked. Then we're going to put another one down here across that brick section that we filled in a moment ago. We're going to drop that there like that. Drop that there like that. And this is the one exception to the rule that I was doing, putting two ledges in the middle. We're just going to have one underneath those vents. Like that. Okay. And that looks pretty good. Okay. And now one of the last things I want to do as far as the structure here goes is, let me see, where is, oh, yeah, so let's come down here and we're going to grab this small little block. We're going to drop this down right here. And I want to change the theme on this now to be the ivy theme. I'll set that to be my theme. That creates like a little bush there. We'll put another one over here on this side. And then we're going to come over to the color changing blocks. And you're going to put one of these in every one of these things for the windows. And you're going to fill those in all the way up, okay? And what you want to do is on these windows, like for the ones that are filled, you're going to come into the properties, you're going to change the default color to light blue. Okay. For the windows that are broken, you're going to change on the properties, change those to black. Okay, and I'll show you which way you have to set all of the individual windows here in a moment. But at this point, the basic structure of the toy box is done. And now we're going to add in a bunch of little details to really make it shine. But this is going to take me some time to do. So I'm going to do this offline, because watching me scroll through the editor and find and place all of these little things would be pretty boring to watch. And so I'll do this offline, and then I'll be back in a moment and show you the final result. Okay, I am back, and I have added in all of the little finishing touches. So let me give you a quick tour and show you the pieces that I have placed and where you find them in the editor. And if you're recreating this on your own system, you can pause the video along the way as I go and copy what you see. So for the park area, I have added in all of these plants around the perimeter and around the sidewalk in the middle. And these are all the first 9 pieces out of the plants drawer. These are the customizable plant clusters. So you can kind of look at what I've done here and the pieces that I've used and where I've placed them. And I placed a couple of them over here and a couple of them over here. Okay, so that's all the plants. Over the door, I have placed these 2 little striped awnings. These are out of Building Sets Group 2. We also have these elevator platforms, okay? And these are styled, whoops, changed the style on that one, but this is styled using the Stuntwood theme. And again, when I picked that up, you saw where that was in the editor. It's out of Platforming Toys. And you can see where I've placed them here. Okay. None here in this section. None here up here. All right. So those are the movable platforms. This is out of the Platforming Toys. It's the parallel pipes. This is themed using the Plastic 2 theme. So you go under Themes, change this to Plastic 2. And I placed one there, and I placed one up there. And those are the only ones I placed. Okay, on top of the vent, I have placed a modern air conditioning unit. This is out of the decorations drawer. And I did that over here as well. And then on the corner here, this is the satellite dish, also from decorations. I placed one on the other side as well. And this is the Healing Tiki from Stitch's Tropical Rescue. You find this in the Gameplay Toys. Okay. I added in this little balcony wedge underneath these blocks next to those air conditioning units. Did one there, one there. We have another Healing Tiki here between floors 6 and 7, and another one over there. And when you get up here, we added a couple of air conditioning units on either side of those vents. And then on top of the building, I have placed the rooftop pigeon coop. This is out of Building Sets Group 2, as well as the rooftop AC unit right next to it. And you can see how that's oriented. I placed one down here, and I placed one over here. And then on the corner, on the other side and on this side, This is from the decorations drawer. This is the Incredibles antenna. And then out of platforming toys, I used the scalable barrier block. And you'll notice there's these little handles on the corners, and I use those to stretch the scalable barrier block the way you see there. It's not really necessary, I suppose, because the player can't get through there. When they're playing, they're going to be tied to the path down below, but I put them up there anyway. Okay. And then for the windows, notice how they're styled. So we had filled in the light blue here, made that one black. Here's how they look for each of the 3 floors. So that's the first 3 floors. You'll want to change the default color on those color changing blocks like you see there. This is the middle 3 floors. This is the upper 3 floors. And this is the 10th floor. Okay? So there you go. And then the last thing we need to do is style all these pieces. So we'll select one, go into the theming menu, and we're going to select the Nice Land terrain. I'm going to theme all. Are you sure? Yes. And that themes everything. And we now end up with a nice little Wreck-It Ralph themed park and building pieces over there on either side of our Nicelanders apartment building. And with that, the build exercise for this toy box is done. I told you this is a pretty easy toy box to build. Next Friday, I will show you how to hook up the logic for the game itself. You won't want to miss that, so be sure to come back next Friday, or better yet, subscribe to my channel so you won't miss the next episode when it airs. Thank you for watching, and if you are enjoying this series, please hit the like button and leave a comment to let me know. That's all for me today. Take care.